Good morning. Good morning. Isn't that a good song, Brother Dan? Where are you, Dan? Oh, there you're back there. You know, well, not only we will have the little heaven, a little country in heaven. How you said it? Countryside of heaven. Yeah. Well, we have the countryside of heaven here. You know, we have it over there, or better yet, we have the countryside of heaven over there. But we have the heaven side over here in the country now. So I think that will work that way. You know, I was waking up this morning. I'm so very happy to be here. As you all know, that once a year I come up to House of Prayer here. I'm always excited about it. Because whenever I come here, there's only for one reason and one reason only. Now there are other wonderful reasons, like seeing Pastor Rick and Linda here, and the children, the grandchildren, seeing all of you here, and you know everybody that is here. The old friends, the new friends, those are the good reasons. But there's one very special reason that I usually come here, and that is, it is mission conference. It is Mission Sunday. Because when we talk about mission, we talk about what God can do in us, but especially what God can do through us, so that we can reach the nations. Because you see, ladies and gentlemen, the impact of this church goes beyond the four walls that we have here. Because from here to the nations, to the Philippines, to Mexico, to Romania, to Papua New Guinea, and the many different places in the world that this church has been impacting through the years. I probably told you this some time ago, that the size of a church, the Lord told me this about 2-3 years back, the size of the church is not determined by the number of people that are sitting in the congregation Sunday morning. Even though it is good, you know, to have everybody here, you know, it will be a little discouraging for us preachers, you know, to come here and you only preach for your wife and to somebody else. Yeah, you can do that at home, I guess, you know. And talking about the wife, you know, all of you here have been, you know me coming this last almost 20 years. And I have Joyce here with me, so honey, why don't you just kind of stand up and say hello to the folks here? So, this is special. Well, maybe a few years from now or sometime from now, we'll bring the boys, you know. The oldest one is married and the other two in college, so maybe, well, actually last year we went to Lake Tahoe and we passed by this way and have a little opportunity there to see Pastor Rick and Linda here. Didn't see all of you, but maybe one of these days you're going to see the whole family. Now, I was thinking about this meeting this morning here and been praying about it. I woke up with this thought. Now, I said to Joyce, is the grammar correct? She said yes. So if it isn't, you blame her, okay? And the thought that was going through my mind over and over is this. It is good to go for the better. And it is better to go for the best. Amen. It is good to have the goods. But it is better to have the better. And it is best to go for the best. So, let me just run it through a bit. It is good to go for the better. And it is better to go for the best. It is good to have the goods, but it's better to have the better. And it's best to go for the best. I was telling the mission committee last night in Pastor Rick's house, you know, if you don't know, whenever I come here, I speak Sunday morning, get out of town Sunday afternoon. But because Joyce is here, we decided to stay here tonight and worship again with all of you folks and deliver the message that God put in my heart, and we leave tomorrow. But usually when I come, the Saturday afternoon in Pastor Rick and Linda's house, the mission committee get together and we see what has been done through the past years and all the good report. And of course you all have it, because you can see it in the wall in the back there, and the reports are coming in, all the pictures and all that. And so we were meeting together in Pastor Rick's place here last night as usual. And so I was thinking, after we meet last night in Pastor Rick's place, I was telling the mission committee, and I said, you know, these last 20 years or so that I have come here, today or this time, I feel something in the spirit, something new. It is like not a smell in the air, but it is just like you're breathing an excitement. It is something accelerating. It is something that God is doing that is going to be better than what we have always had. Not that what we have so far with God is not good. It is good. But we are pressing on for the better. And then God is saying to us this morning, it is best to go for the best. Because Christianity, walking with God, as far as Jesus is concerned and the Bible is concerned, is going from glory to glory. From mountaintop to mountaintop. From light to light until the dawning of the new day. And so, I just like to read this particular Bible verse here for us this morning, as we remember that it is good to go for the better, but it is better to go for the best. It is good to have the goods, but it is better to have the better, and it is best to go for the best. So, the book of Luke, chapter 17, please. I was driving Joyce and Linda to church today, which is always my job when I came up here, you know. And so I was driving the two ladies up here, and I said to Joyce, because this is the first time she's up here in Garden Valley, I said, when I came here first, almost 20 years ago, and Tammy was just, where's Tammy? Okay, Tammy was just a teenager, just a little past teenagers, you know. The church was up in the, what's the name of that place there? The range over there. It's a nice place over there. But if you ask me, if I have to choose between the range over there and this one over here, I'll go for this one here anytime. I'm going to go for this one here anytime. Every time I come here, you know, I'll see, you know, the new decorations and new things, and it just feels good. It just feels better. It just feels that we're heading for the best. So here's the story in Luke chapter 17, please. Verse 11. Now it happened that as he went from Lake Tahoe to Sacramento, it said here in my Bible, he went to Jerusalem. He passed through the midst of Samaria and Galilee. You see, Jesus, when you go to Jerusalem, you're going to something important. You're going to the big city. But the one thing about Jesus that we have to remember, that even though he is going to Jerusalem, he never missed Samaria and Galilee. So as far as Jesus is concerned, and I know this because this last 20 years almost, you know, I know that Jesus is at work in Garden Valley. He never passed by this church. This church is important. You are important for what God is doing in the world today. And so then as he entered a certain village, there met him 10 men who were lepers, who stood afar off. And they lifted up their voice and said, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. Now, it goes without saying that when you talk about leprosy, the Bible scholars will tell us that leprosy speaks about sin. It is the disease that in those days supposed to be or considered contagious, and it is incurable disease. Once you have leprosy, you are really cursed. If you want to look at it that way, and not only you're cursed, it is hopeless, and not only that, you become separated from the community, and that is probably the worst part of it. Because leprosy, ladies and gentlemen, in those days, not only it has the smell and it has the pus and look bad, but also when you have it long enough, you can lose half the nose or half the ears or a couple of the joint in the toes or the fingers drop off because of the effect of leprosy in one's body. So if you have leprosy in those days, you're basically doomed to a life that is basically you don't want to have. It is terrible. And it is so terrible that not only you suffer the disease, but the rule in the community at that time is that you have to be isolated. So, it doesn't matter if you just got married, like, is that Don that got married? Bob and the new bride. Well, pray that you didn't get leper after you just got married in those days. Because what's going to happen, whoever got the leper is going to be separated from the family, separated from the village. Now, it doesn't matter if you got grandbabies that are coming, well, you cannot see them. Well, maybe you can see them from the distance, but you cannot fellowship with them up close because they don't want the leprosy to be contagious and to others, and this incurable disease to be for somebody else to get. So you are isolated. You have your own, if you want to call it a leper colony, so to speak, and the only one that you are going to live around is the other leper people, you know, that are in the little leprosy or leper community that you have. And so there are 10 of them, according to this story. I can imagine one of them has had leprosy for 50 years, 120, 115, 15. Each one of them probably have a wife back at home, children, grandchildren, but here they are by themselves and cannot enjoy the love and the fellowship and the blessings that other people are enjoying because they didn't have the leprosy. Now it was terrible. But one day Jesus passed by. And somehow these guys heard that Jesus was going to pass by. And of course they couldn't come too close because that was, are not allowed. But they said, we're going to make sure that when he passed by the road, we have heard about this Jesus. So we're going to ask him to help us. Make sure that he will hear our cry. And so Jesus passed by, and in the distance, and this 10 lepers said, when I count from 3, make sure, everybody, give it your best shot. Shout the loudest. Never mind your vocal cord. Because if he don't hear us, we're going to be done. So give it your best so that he'll hear us. Because if what we heard from the people, that this is the Messiah, this is the man of God, this is the one that God sent, this is the one that has performed miracles, this is the one that has raised people from the dead and changed water into wine. If he is what we were told to be, then this is our best chance for heaven. So they saw Jesus and the disciple pass by. 1, 2, 3. Master! Have mercy on us! Hey, that's not loud. Master! And keep on going until you hear something. Master! Have mercy on us! And then all of a sudden Jesus said, all right, guys, I hear you. Go to the priest and show yourself up to him. Do whatever he tells you to do, because it is part of the rule in those days. If you're supposed to be healed from leprosy, you go to the priest. The priest check you out, and they say, okay, you're good. You give your little offering, thanksgiving offering, sacrifice, whatever that is. Then you can go back to the family. And so they're on their way to show themselves to the priest, and they discover that they have been healed. They probably look at each other and say, hey, the white, funny pus that is in your nose and your finger, it's gone. The smell isn't there anymore. Well, it looks like everything is good. The leprosy is gone. Oh, they got so excited. And so they said, you know what? I don't know about going to the priest, you guys. Oh, let us go to the priest because he told us to do it. But after the priest, I am heading home. So leper number 1 said, the house is about 10 miles from here. It's going to take me a while to get there. I haven't seen my wife for 20 years. And when I left at that time to go to the colony, when I got the leprosy, my kid was about 2 years old. He's, a teenager by now, and I'm going to go see these kids. My girl is probably older than that, and she was having a boyfriend when I left, and from what I can have here, they emailed me the picture, the Instagram, whatever you call that thing. So, I got the picture of the grandbaby here, but haven't seen this grandbaby for a long, long time. So I tell him what, I'm heading home. So he went. Leper number 2, that they are now healed, also heading home. Everybody has a good reason to go home because they have received something good from Jesus. They've got the healing. Now they are no longer have to be isolated. Now they can go home and enjoy the blessings of the family. But according to the Bible, there's one person that didn't go straight home. Well, let me kind of read the story here quickly, please, if you don't mind. And one of them, when he saw that he was healed, returned and with a loud voice glorified God and fell down on his face at Jesus' feet, giving him faith.